I uttered a scream and I tried to dodge out of the way. My chair fell and I fell with it. The chair clattered noisily onto the floorboards. I landed on my side. I tried to roll away, but the snarling creature sank its teeth into my leg. Ow! I shrieked. Over my cry, I heard Ivana's booming shouts. Down, Luca! Get down! Off, Luca! Get off! The wild creature gurgled. It let go of my leg and backed away, breathing hard. As I scrambled to my feet, I stared at the panting creature. It had a man's face. Hunched on its hind legs, it looked almost human, except that it was covered in thick black fur. Get back, Luca! Ivana screamed. Back! The creature obediently inched back. Don't be scared of Luca, Ivana said, turning to me. He's a good boy. What is he? I tried, rubbing my leg. I'm not sure, Ivana replied, grinning at me, at the furry thing. Luca hopped up and down, grinning, making grunting sounds. He was brought up by wolves, Ivana said, but he's a good boy, aren't you, Luca? Luca nodded. His tongue hung out of his open mouth. He panted like a dog. Ivana petted his long, shaggy... Is this like a sex thing?
Yeah.
Matt, does he... Is it a sex thing?
I have to weigh in here and say yes.
It's a sex thing, right? Like,
It's
he's not really a dog. She fucks the dog.
Yeah. She fucks the dog, but it's kind of like a man, so she doesn't feel as weird about it.
It's got a man's face.
It's a man's face, but a Robin Williams body.
Ah, okay. And a doggy butthole to...
A doggy butthole.
So
Correct.
she fucked the dog.
She fucks the Robin Williams dog.
All right, let's return.
Okay.
Ivana petted his long, shaggy hair. I fucked the dog, Ivana said.
You can't scare me. Not with the basement of botany. Maybe a sentient dummy. Calling all
creep. Boo, dudes. Welcome to another ep of Calling All Creeps. I'm your host, Turkey. Gobble gobble. I'm here with the stuffed potato. Yes, stuffing is a thing. Stuffed potato is not a thing.
Stuff your potato.
I guess it is.
It.
Yeah, I mean you load your potato up with stuff, right?
Sure do. You got full lated potato skins from Fridays at half price apps.
TGIF, Dave. Literally.
Thank God I farted. I'm not a God-fearing man. I'm not religious at all, but I'll thank any deity for this hefty butt queef.
Did I send you I think I did send you the pic of the sweatshirt that said MILF.
Yes.
And it was an acronym for Man, I Love to Fart.
Yeah. Man.
That's very good.
Man, I love to MILF.
It. Man, I love to MILF. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm tired as all get out. How about you?
Yeah. I'm all right. I'm tired as well. I have let's just start the episode this way so I don't derail us later.
Okay.
I have a little update, if I can update you and perhaps the listeners.
Oh my God. Is it an update about your up there?
Down there. It's a whole update.
Yeah, but I mean like you going in. You going up there.
Oh, sure.
You're going You're going up the down there.
Correct. Yep.
Sounds
right
like
into the Sarlacc pit.
Sounds like a Spin Doctors album. Up the down there.
Yes, well, I'm a few days post my follow-up from my doctor's appointment. I think I went Tuesday. Doesn't matter.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And so it was the 3-month visit to my gastroenterologist.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, of course, as listeners may know, if you're just hopping onto the pod now, welcome. I had an anal fissure. And what I was assigned to do at the start of my fissure process was to finger my asshole twice a day with a medicated lube called, doesn't matter what it's called, and I forget, so that's convenient. And and basically that's to help the healing process. A fissure is like a little tear in your rectum.
Yeah.
And so it feels like you're pooping out like hot fire. Like fire sauce, perhaps, from Taco Bell. I went in. It's early in the morning. It's 8 a.m. appointment. And the nurse came in, was asking me questions, how everything felt, took vitals and whatnot. By the way, gained some weight in quarantine.
Nice. All in your dick.
all in my hog.
Yeah, it's getting big.
That's what made it so hard with the scale. She was like, "Hey, is everything out of your pockets?" And I was like, "Yes, it's my it's my hog. It's like 10% of my body weight."
And she was like, "Well, let me lighten the load for you." And then the music got all sexy, and you were like, "I'm a married man." And she said, "I respect that," and walked away. There needs to be more erotic video about respect. Anyway.
Right, correct. I support that. And so after all that stuff, she was like, "Well, if it's feeling better, probably, doc's just going to come in, talk to you about it, but probably we won't need to check anything out." So
sick.
So I was like, "Sweet, awesome." And then she left. And then about a minute later, she came back and she was like, "No, he's definitely going to have to go in there. So if you can," she gave me like a sheet, like a paper sheet. And she said, "If you could just take off your pants and your underwear and hop on this table and then put the sheet over." And I was like, I've done this before. Okay.
I love that. Like she was like, you're good. Then walked over to the doctor and was just like, you don't have to go on Matt's butt today. And he was like, "Aww," and she was like, fine, I'll go have him open it up. And he's like, "Yay."
Correct. Yeah. I had been preparing. I had a butt plug in and I removed it. And so I'm on the table. He comes in, asks me how everything's feeling. He goes in there.
I just thought of something I'll say later. Remind me.
Well, please say now. Now.
Do you have another follow-up after this? We'll talk. I don't want to ruin it. But imagine if you answered like an Ace Ventura. What's like, "How you doing?" And you talk with your eyes like, "I'm feeling sick."
That's good. I mean, that's a missed opportunity.
It is. Next time.
We have to own our missed opportunities.
All right. So I derailed your derailment. So let's.
Right. So he lubes up. He sticks a finger in my butthole, the longest finger, the middle finger, as if to say, "Fuck your ass."
Yeah.
And he, it's a very
comes out your mouth.
Correct.
Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And then he began twirling me like I'm on a spit.
Sick.
So it's a very confident finger. It's a man who does this many times a day.
Well,
like he kind of swirled it up there. And he said, "Do you remember last time I did that?" He said, "You almost jumped a mile because it was so painful." And I said, "Yes, I do remember last time you fingered my ass."
Yeah.
And because it hurt a lot, A. B, it doesn't happen that much. I don't think...
See, the weirder part of this, it's weirder that he remembered. Because he does ass fingering for a living all the time. This guy's in, like, I'd bet 8-10 asses a day. And it's been 3 months.
I mean, mine makes an impression. I've been told that all my life.
It sure does.
And
you got like the JTT of beagles. All right.
Yeah, my butt is the most responsible out of all the brothers on Home Improvement.
I'd love it. All right.
And
so what'd you get? What was your grade? Did he?
I got it. I'll tell you what I got. I got a fucking brown plus.
He just wrote grade A beef and stamped it right on that hiney.
Correct. Yeah. And so after that, I've told everyone about the anuscope. Pardon me, I had a little burp there. And I told everyone about the anuscope. He stuck that in there. It was a breeze. So much better than the last time. Now, I don't know if it was just that the fissure healed or I've been progressively loosening my butthole for 90 days.
Also,
by shoving things in there all day.
Yeah, and you got to get more comfortable with it. It's like...
Oh, I was a pro by the end.
Yeah.
Talk about confident fingering. I was just like... I was, Stone Cold Steve Austin executing the stunner in my ass.
It's like, imagine having to do like a front handspring And, like, you're going to get fucked up the first time. But if you've been cartwheeling for 3 months every day, twice a day,
Yeah.
you're going to get better.
Exactly. Yeah, in the beginning, I was trying to do a little backflip, and I would just kind of somersault. And then, I recruited the help of a trampoline, got my footing a little better. By the end, I was fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme, baby.
Yeah.
I was going up and down scaffolding.
You had, like, 2 chairs far apart, and you were doing a split between them while putting your finger in your ass.
Yeah. Every day was blood sport in my bathroom.
Oh, man.
And
Exit wound.
So he put the anescope in there. He said, no evidence of a fissure. I'm clean, Dave. He said, you can stop putting the stuff in your butt right away.
But then the Trump administration was just like, even though there is no evidence, I'm still fighting for this anal fissure. And that's as political as I'll make it.
I love it. Yeah, despite all that, I'm still putting stuff up there. I do have some takeaways, actually, that I want to share, if I could. I know this is going on a long
Well, also,
time.
if you guys want the original part of the story, I believe the episode, was it Bad Hair Day?
I mean,
Yeah.
how fitting would that be?
I think it was Bad Hair Day. You can go back.
My butt beard. Yeah. I think you are right. That would probably put us around 3 months ago. And but so quick takeaways. I just want to say is his. Are you combing through? You're scrubbing.
Now, an anuscope.
Yep, it's Bad Hair Day. Yeah, you can hear this whole thing for the first 30 minutes of that episode.
Yeah, I would say roughly that.
Roughly.
If you want to hear more of this bullshit. So, but here's what surprised me. So, first of all, as all doctors say for just about anything, drink a lot of water. Sure. Yeah. Take a stool softener as needed or load up your fiber intake. As I said in that preliminary episode in Bad Hair Day, it's so fucking hard to reach your 30 grams a day. It's like, it's maddening. But the biggest thing is he said, he asked me how long I'm on the toilet for. And I said, well, I mean, most of the day.
As long as I got. That's my favorite
spot. As long as I
spot.
can be. Yeah. And no, I said I hemmed and hawed because I don't know. I had this urge to give him an exact timeline, and I don't know. And he said, he asked, do you bring your phone into the bathroom with you? And I said,
Heck
of
yeah.
course.
Oh yeah.
And he said, you don't do that. He said 3 minutes. It should be 3 minutes or less because you're sitting on the toilet bowl and think about all the time you're spending on there and where's that pressure going? Like all the pressure after a while, especially, is really just on the muscles in your anus. Like it's all just bearing down on your asshole. So, and I was just like, oh yeah, like that makes a lot of sense. And I immediately disobeyed. Like it's impossible.
It is. I have so many mobile games that are only for the toilet. And the problem is, like, sometimes, like, I've been playing this Power Ranger game where you fight people online. Sometimes I'm good for, like, 3 online fights per toilet. And, like, I'm long done.
I have to say, now, if you don't want to hear any of this shit, and why would you, skip ahead. But the first BM, that preliminary BM, is very efficient for me. It's just that when you work from home, you have a lot of opportunities to hit that pot. And I'm not talking about smoking a jazz cigarette. I'm talking about the toilet bowl.
Though it is legal now.
Correct.
But thank God the toilet's illegal, I'll tell you what.
Well, you know what's illegal? Staying on there longer than 3 minutes.
You just froze for a second, and I missed your joke. And I'm really...
Oh, no.
It's okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. It just stopped
Perfect.
the joke. So I'm just going to... Hold on 1 second. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so anyway, so don't dilly-dally on the toilet. Of course, on the other hand, do whatever it takes to get through the day because life is fucking miserable.
True, yeah.
Anyway.
But it's good to know that if your butt's broke, there's options.
There's hope for you.
There is.
Absolutely.
You're a survivor.
Correct. Yes, I'm very brave. I don't think enough people say that.
You know how they say the word hero is thrown around?
Yeah.
a lot? Well, I'm about to throw it right down in your butthole because you are...
Baby, I'll catch it because my butthole's healthy as hell.
It is. And apparently strong and ready to receive.
Quite
Hells yeah,
strong.
dude. I'm really proud of you.
You know what when he put his finger in, you know what he said to me?
What?
He looked into my eyes and he said, "Hey, good grip."
And then he snapped his finger.
I did. I consumed it with my ass and I got drunk faster. So what else? Any other bullshit before we get into time and place?
Today's book is Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Oh yeah. Sure. It is legend.
Host, Kirk Fogg. Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Wait, what's his name? Is that his real name? Olmec.
Olmec, and he would announce Kirk Fogg.
Kirk
And
Fogg was
he'd
the man.
pop out and he'd be like, "Hey kids, today we're going on an adventure." Olmec, tell him
Damn.
the story, and he'd be like, "Back in ancient Greece,
Right.
Caesar had a wiener on his statue, and then Cleopatra ate the wiener, and it found its way to our temple in the shrine of the silver monkey."
You know, the silver monkey. You know how we were joking about how big my hog is?
Yeah.
I can say
No joke.
it's much closer to the Roman and Greek statues that you see where you're like, that is a small wiener.
No, I thought you meant it's been just knocked off.
or that.
I remember I went to the Museum of Natural History with producer Chib when she was doing like Greek studies, like Latin studies.
Yeah.
And
Just a classics major.
That's when I learned the awesome fun fact that most of those statues don't have wieners because like they would get drunk and party, and at night when you were in someone else's town, the version of like stealing something from someone's mom's house was taking the hilt of your sword and just knocking the dick off statues in their town.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that funny?
That's fantastic.
That's like
It
the
is
sick
very
prank.
funny. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Like if you did it now, I would laugh.
Especially if you like came home with it and you're like, "Hey, dude," like you're drunk.
And out of context, it just looks like a gray nub.
Yeah, it's just
nothing.
like, "Oh, that is a fine piece of marble. I shall buy that for 3 gold." And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
"No, dude, it's a wee wee." It's like, "Oh,
It is 9 gold.
yeah, marble in wee wee fashion." Huzzah!
Ooh la la. I guess in a way that's like a tiny dildo.
Yeah,
If you want it to be. I guess it could be anything.
Sure.
You could plug up a dam with it.
I love your 2 options for small rock is dildo
Well-
and dam plugger.
In many ways, isn't a dildo just a dam plugger?
The book is Legends of the Lost Legend. How
Yes,
I remember
correct.
this book is that it has, I think, one of the worst covers. It's it's like a boring cover.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like a fucked up version of Drew Barrymore wearing like a Viking helmet.
Yeah, it's like a steroid Drew Barrymore that's also like a toddler.
Yes, exactly. Pigtails, long pigtails.
Long pigtail. It's a Viking. But at first I thought it was about like gnome people because the proportions of this lady are very off.
Yeah, it's especially her face is very stout. It's like smushed together.
It's like if Miss Piggy got hit by magic lightning and became a Viking.
It is like, yeah, right. It's a Miss Piggy as a person.
It's Miss Piggy.
It's Person Piggy.
Person Piggy. And this book
Oh my
came
God.
out. This is book 47. Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah.
15 more of these?
Yeah,
Is
dude.
that right?
We're almost done with this shit.
Oh my God. What a blessing for us and for you, listener.
Our enthusiasm to do this, especially to read this, like usually I'd say when we started, I think my enthusiasm, we were at like an 8 of 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Starting this? Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh because of where we are now.
Normal, I'd say we're at like maybe a 5 of
Sure.
10.
On a good day, yeah. Ask a 5.
Today, 3.5.
Oh, baby.
3.25 maybe.
I think last episode I was at a 1.
Oh yeah, you really hated those Garbage Pail Kids. On September 29th, by the way, this book came out in September of 1996, the Nintendo 64 game system debuted in the USA.
Oh my God.
I know we said it before. 3 months prior, it came out in Japan. We said when it was announced, but this is
In
when it came to the USA.
1996?
Yeah.
September 29th?
Yeah.
Wow, that's my old friend Frank. Shout out Frank if you listen to this. That's his birthday.
Oh, that's so sweet.
He was born in 85. Why did I do this? I don't know when he was born.
Yeah, why would you pick a year? You're already fucking up. But
Yeah.
let's just we'll put the wool over his eyes and say that on September 7th, rap artist Tupac Shakur was shot multiple times in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. On September 13th, he passed away.
Yeah, I recently read his Wikipedia page because some dumbass politician brought up Tupac. I forget the context already because our news cycle is so insane. But I just looked up. I was curious about the circumstances surrounding his death. I didn't know he died on the street in LA,
It's crazy.
and that so many hip hop artists we still know and are still doing well had such dubious ties to that.
Oh, yeah.
In one way or another.
Last podcast on the left has a great episode. It's like a 3-episode thing where they break down the deaths of Biggie and Tupac and who,
Yeah.
how Suge Knight had stuff to do with it. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's insane.
P. Diddy was there.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff, and it's strange.
It's a very 90s thing. And then Zendaya, the famous actress. She was in Spider-Man.
However you say it, I will agree.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was born on September 1st.
Okay.
I didn't say anything. The song is still the Macarena. The movie is The Crow, City of Angels, the shitty sequel, and also a movie called Bulletproof, which starred Adam Sandler and Damon Wayans.
I have seen that movie. I don't remember any of it other than at one point I think Adam Sandler imitates a disabled person, which is not great. That happened a lot in the 90s, I guess.
Yeah. And that's it? That's all you remember?
That's all I remember. Yeah, it's a standout. Yeah.
And then about this book, the French cover of this book, which is Le Danse de la Forêt, has a different cover. It's just an old man holding a chest.
Okay.
And this book, despite them saying that this is one of the most popular Goosebumps books, they did not decide to reprint it at all. So the only time this book has been reprinted was for the Goosebump Retro Tin.
Whoa.
Which I have a few of. They're actually popping up around last month, October, at Barnes & Noble. If you go, they are Goosebumps Tins, and inside of them, I think you get 4 books, and they're reprints with the original Jacobus art on them.
Yeah. How do you know how many tins there are? There's more than one, right?
I think there's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And they basically look the same. They're just a little different colors, and they have different art on the front.
Right. And they're not I always want to say embossed, but it's debossed, I guess. The Goosebumps. It's flat, right?
Yeah, it's flat. But you can usually get them pretty cheap on Amazon.
That's true too.
Amazon has been discounting them, but I mean they discount and ruin everything. So, but yeah, that's that about this.
Great. Also want to just note the horrendous title. Just the sheer horror that is the title.
Weirdly, even though the title's meh, it at least has some sort of adventure and mystery, because the title's not good, but it's the best part of the book.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny if it was I guess it was intentional. Legend of the Lost Legend. It just stops you in your tracks. Not in a good way.
That's kind of why I like it. It catches your attention.
Well, I got to say, I don't know how you felt about this book. I got a slight impression from your text to me. And we'll post all the things that Dave and I send each other later. And I'll give you my address and Dave's address.
Thank you.
And my social security. And but I did. I kind of liked the book. It was it was weird. And it was like a weird Hunger Games-y, I think I liked the world that it built.
Matt?
Yes.
This book fucking sucked.
We are often on opposite pages of books.
And I was even going to say, the people on Goodreads, who are usually super kind when they're reviewing a Goosebumps book, are also like, the fuck is this shit? They're like, this isn't a Goosebumps book. It just goes from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and makes zero sense.
It's not scary at all. It has no horror element, and it makes no sense.
No.
But I think the caliber of writing is better than a lot that we've seen, and the worlds. I just like that it's weird as hell, and I just like the environments that it builds.
Yeah, I think it still sucks though.
Yeah.
What environments that it builds though? Like a forest, and then a forest that's half paper mache, and then they say, is the whole forest fake? And they say, only the stuff that's not real. Like, what? And he's like, the fake stuff is the stuff that's not real. And they're like, oh, gotcha. And I'm like, this book's fucking stupid.
It bounces around a lot, and I think the beginning is interesting because it starts with a story. It starts with you. It's sort of meta here because you're within a story in the story itself, right? So it's like Dad's telling a story. Those are the first 3 chapters. You think it's the actual book, but it's not. And then chapter 4 or whatever starts with that was Dad's story, and actually they're camping in the woods in Denderflark or whatever the fuck.
It's Brovania.
Brovania, right? Yeah, that's
where the national.
Every time I go to the gym.
The national anthem is Too Fast, Too Furious on DVD.
Yeah, the national anthem is a Marshmello song. And and then it goes from there. There's like a mysterious dog, and we're going to go into the plot, but yeah, you go deeper into the woods, you find this weird cabin, then you wake up, and you are in the Hunger Games, where some things aren't real, and it just reminded me of like when you reach the end of the world in Coraline, and it starts to sort of like glitch and disappear a bit. It was just weird. And then you go back, and then suddenly Dad's there. It's strange, and just the way it was built and the way it was described often was better, I think, than other books we've read. Was it my favorite book? No, but I think the description is better than some instances we've seen.
It's like a fever dream.
Yes, that's a great way
So
to put it.
let's go through. Would you like to go through the plot?
Sure. Yeah, so like I said, the first couple chapters are you're sort of inside the story. Dad is a storyteller, and Dad is the father of Justin and Marissa. Their last name is Clark.
So what was his job again?
He was a refrigerator repairman.
No. What is his job in the book, for real?
I have no idea.
Their dad is a storyteller. And he's out.
That's his title?
He's like a guy who tells stories. And he's out to find a lost story so that he can make money.
Right.
The fuck is that?
I want to find the description. That's wild.
That's like if like Stephen King went to like a haunted house and he's like, I'm here to find scary things so that I can go back and write scary things and make money.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what he did, but it's like the weirdest way to describe it. Like, it's not like I'm a writer looking for my next big novel, or I'm an explorer. He's like, I'm a storyteller. There's probably a story in these woods hidden in a treasure chest. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? You're not an archaeologist or a historian. You're a storyteller.
Oh. Well, it says he's a very famous writer. He's a very famous writer, storyteller, and story. The weird thing, it's still weird because it says story collector. I don't know what that is, but it says Dad travels all over the world searching for stories, all kinds of stories. Then he puts them in books. He has published 10 books of stories, and he goes all over the country telling some of the stories that he's hunted down. So I guess he writes like folklore books or something.
Yeah.
And it says he brought Marissa and me to Europe, to this forest in the tiny country of Brovania, because of a very special search. This is a very stupid question. Is Brovania real?
No, I just Googled it.
Okay. Because he's used real places before.
He has, but this time he decided against it.
Yeah, Brovania is their main export is creatine. Yeah, it's definitely stupid. It's definitely weird. But that is how the first 2 three chapters, I guess, begin where the kids are in like Antarctica, and they're like sort of drifting out to sea. And the first couple chapters are, like you said, like a fever dream. They're sort of hallucinatory. I liked that. I liked the snowy world that was built there. And then you're taken out of it and you're put in a tent in Brovania. And it was kind of fun. I don't know. The description of camping is kind of fun. That's as far as I go into camping, is just I'll read the description and I'll say, that seems nice. But that's the MO, right? Like, that's why Dad and the kids are there. They want to find this chest that has some fucking shit in it from 500 years ago that will perpetuate his career as a storyteller.
And it's lost.
It is lost. It is a lost legend, if you will.
So they're going to go to sleep, but then Justin, did we say Justin and Marissa? Yeah,
Justin and Marissa. Yeah, Justin rips a huge fart and hotboxes everyone in there.
Justin knocks over a lantern, and from the description, it sounds like they burned alive and died. And then he's just like, oh, no, just kidding. It just burned a tiny hole in the tent.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, make up your mind, man. And because of that, his dad's just like, oh, well, we'll just sleep with a hole in the tent, which, like, fine. But then, like, they hear noises outside. And Dad is a sound sleeper. So, of course, when he's snoozing, he's not waking up. So they see a big dog with white fur. And he's just like, oh, it's just a dog. I should pet it. And the chapter ends with, like, I'm going to go pet it. And then he goes to the chapter, like, I went up to pet it. And Marissa was just like, what are you doing? And then I realized, oh, no, this could be a wolf.
I think everybody relates to that impulse to just pet the dog.
Yeah, but, like, it's the middle of the night in Brovania. And there's, like, a hole. And it's just like, oh, it's just a dog. I'm going to go touch it. And then he's just like, as he's touching this dog, he's just like, oh, no, it's a wolf. I'm like, when it took you this long? And then Marissa's just like, quit it. And then it turns out he's like, oh, it just is a dog. And it has a note.
Yeah. It has a note attached to its collar that says, I know why you're here. And it says, follow Silver Dog. The name of the dog is Silver Dog. Nice.
Yeah.
Like if George Clooney was a dog, right?
Of course.
Yeah, Silver Dog. And I think, hey, producer Chip just said it wasn't funny. It's very funny. We're going to get loads of comments about my Clooney comment.
I've been laughing my goddamn ass off about that Silver Dog one you did.
Thanks, Dave. Oh, yeah, she booed.
She booed?
Which is perfect for this pod, actually.
Yeah, because it's like, she scared us.
Hey, Chib, can you come here? Can you say, just give us a little boo dudes into the mic?
Boo dudes.
Thank you. Hey, is Lucy Blumpkins here?
Well, maybe she is. Maybe she isn't. Who knows?
Whoa, that's weird. I just saw Lucy Blumpkins just came in here. She I think she departed though. This earth. I killed her.
Sick.
Yeah. So anyway, Clooney Dog comes in, and he wants the kids to follow him. Presumably, he knows where this legend is or this treasure is. So the kids are like, okay,
yeah.
and they follow him, so and they think they get lost a bunch of times.
Yeah,
I guess they do at one
they
point.
follow a deer instead of the dog.
Right. Yeah.
And they think they hear bats. And then they get to a small cabin because they find Silver Dog again. And they also fall into a hole. This happens a lot. So apparently Dad has a story that's called, like, That Big Hole. No, what is it called?
I know. I wrote this down because I was like, what the fuck is this? It's called The Pit with No Bottom.
Yeah, The Pit with No Bottom. Anytime, like, he'll, like, miss the last step, and he'll be like, oh, pit with no bottom. Like,
yeah.
And you expect it to have any sort of bearing on the story.
Right.
But it has, like, in the beginning, he's like, Dad tells us all the best stories, like Lost in Antarctica, Pit with No Bottom, why Mom doesn't come and tuck him in anymore, you know, and like it's, but like, and then they fall in a hole when they're chasing the deer, and he's like, Pit with No Bottom again, and no, it just is what it is. He goes, and then they just walk into somebody's home.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was just turning to the page with the pit with no bottom, and it's, it's a title because it's capped. It's like initial capped, and that is jarring because I was like, what the fuck? Like, we don't know your fucking dad's lore. Like, I don't know what the pit with no bottom is. It's not established.
That would be like me on a boat with like people who don't watch movies, and every time a wave comes, I'll be like, oh, it's the perfect storm, like in caps.
Almost did a legit spit take. Yeah.
This is a normal movie, and I'm like, ooh, I thought it was the perfect storm. Oh man,
oof! Thank
Our
God.
boat would have to go vertical to get over that. The perfect storm.
Yeah.
Can you tell that it's italicized and/or in all caps because it's a title? The perfect storm. Oh,
I initial capped it with my voice.
I was so nervous that this was the perfect storm.
Yeah, I saw a man with a mustache, and I was like, "What is this, Borat?" Yakshamash. Yeah, so they do go into this little cabin, and it's Justin makes this observation, like, it looks like this place is totally abandoned. And then he goes out of his way to describe how everything is in perfect order and like firewood is chopped and stuff.
Yeah. And also it's just like, it's super small and like, it seems really low and like not like a big person can live here. And then it's like, and then we saw Ivana, who's massive and huge.
Yeah.
It's just, a lot of the descriptions are just weird in this book.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't very RL-y to me.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a weird one. I don't know how. I'm not putting it eloquently, and I just keep saying that, but it just really was a departure from the usual.
It's fine. That's same for RL. He couldn't put it.
Yeah. So Ivana's in there, and I'm trying to find the initial description of Ivana.
I have it.
Okay, perfect.
A very large woman wearing a long, flowing gray dress. She had flashing, bright green eyes. Blonde bangs fell across her forehead, and long braids hung from the sides of her round-cheeked face. She wore a helmet over her head, a cone-shaped helmet with two horns poking up from the sides, like a Viking from long ago, or someone in an opera. Her arms were big, with powerful muscles. She had sparkling rings on every finger. A round, jeweled medallion swung heavily over her chest. She dove quickly past Marissa and me, her green eyes wild, her mouth twisted in an evil grin.
Beautiful. Sounds like a babe, huh?
I like that. The best line in this is when they say her arms were big with powerful muscles.
I know. I felt like I was looking in the mirror.
That was in my writing because there's so many parts of this book where like he says stuff. He'll be like, the tree was weak with tiny wood. Like it was like he's like the car was fast with its good wheels. Like it's so like nail on the head.
Yeah.
It's like everyone laughed at the very funny joke.
The bathroom door came into view.
Yeah, no, but literally, a lot of it is just, yeah, her arms were strong with strong muscles. Everything's the legend of the lost legend. It's the description and it's the adjective and the noun is the same for everything on this. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, but she seems like a babe. I would, probably ask her on a date.
I'd sign up for that OnlyFans. So she...
Can we make our own OnlyFans?
Sure.
For the podcast? Actually,
Only
no, I don't want
fans
people
of
to be
RL.
able to Google that.
Yeah.
I would just Photoshop our faces on like muscular men and take real pictures of our feet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to throw us, how much is OnlyFans? I guess it varies.
Is it like a Patreon? Is it like $1 a month?
I think it's like I think it's probably, well, maybe there's like tiers. I don't know. We're both pretending like we haven't been on OnlyFans.
I've never gone to OnlyFans.com. I'm going to do it right now.
All
Hold
right.
on. Private browsing. Keep discussing the plot.
So they're in with Ivana in this cabin, and Ivana right away wants to feed them. It's so nice. Do you have results?
Now I know why we don't know anything about OnlyFans. Once you go to the website, it's like, sign in immediately if you want to see anything.
Oh, got it.
I can't check a price. I imagine I'd go on and it would be like, what was that thing that we were trying to get like celebrities to say shit about the podcast? The one where you can go on and you can be like, hey, this is Ace Frehley. Happy birthday. Cameo. Yeah, I thought it would be like Cameo, where you'd go through and be like, oh, Richard Karn, I could look at his wiener. Yeah. Like you would just scroll through. But I guess there's millions of them. How do you scroll through?
Right, I guess you don't. I guess it's like onlyfans.com/whatever.
I guess you need to know somebody who's just like, hey, look at my butt. And then you just sign in to them.
Log on Twitter, leads you to OnlyFans.
Hey, listeners, if you have an OnlyFans, we'll advertise all of our listeners who have OnlyFans.
We'll promote your OnlyFans.
We will promote your OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's a service we provide here at Calling All Creeps.
Yeah, we're gonna
support sex workers.
We'll call it Spooky Dookies.
If it's like an ass worship OnlyFans.
We'll think of a funny pun. And we will do one post. We will do one post where we shout out somebody's OnlyFans, or everybody who sends us an OnlyFans.
And we'll say boob dudes.
I love that. But can dudes have OnlyFans too?
Oh, sure.
Meet the male sex workers of OnlyFans. That's a BuzzFeed article. It must be true.
There we go.
Sick. Yeah, whoever you are, if you got an OnlyFans, you want us to shout it out, throw it on a podcast.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
I don't fucking care. That sounds good. Good for you. Make that money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we just stop talking about this book? It sucks.
Well, look, so Ivana is like giving them soup and shit, and she has a weird sense of humor. And then she tells them, like, I know why you're here. I know what you're looking for. Also, this is like my dog boy, Luca. He's like a man, but also a dog. I don't know.
And she like pets him real good, and he like sniffs her shoes and stuff. It's very sexual.
Yeah. Well, there's that whole chapter where she's like, oh, like Lucas starts. He's like, I have a stomach ache, and Ivana's like, oh shit. Like when this happens, unfortunately, what I have to do. And while she's talking and saying this, she starts jacking him off, and she says, well, when this happens, I have to milk him. And only then will the tummy ache go away and he'll feel okay. And but all the while jacking off. And finally, there's a producer Chip just came in the room. Well, luckily she can't be mad because of all the money we make from this podcast.
Yeah. Right to the bank, she says.
That's right. Laughing all the way to the bank.
My book, I had the new reprint, so it didn't have that part. They edited it out probably.
That's probably it. I have the original one.
In mine, it was around Christmas time, and Luca had eaten some tinsel, so she had to pull tinsel from his butthole.
And when she did, it was like a party favor, right? He went like,
yeah. And like, he shot out.
That's great. Yeah, so...
And then, so she doesn't have a sense of humor, like you said.
Well, it's a weird sense of humor.
Because she's like... They walk in, and she locks the door and was like, I'm gonna kill you. And then she was like, you know what? No, just kidding. Imagine if I was like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Gives them soup, and then was like, eat the fucking soup. And then when they drink the soup, she's just like, it's poison, now you're gonna die. And then when they freak out, she's like, no, imagine if I was like that. Now go to bed in front of me.
I will say that that's a joke that producer Chib pulls on me all the time. She always tells me stuff's poisoned. Right? Is that true, producer Chib? That you often, the meals I eat, a few bites in, you tell me it's poisoned? Yeah, she's nodding vigorously.
Yeah. And then a weird thing, too, is that, like, she's like, I think you should go to bed because it's still nighttime, and then you will be tested tomorrow to see if you can get the Legend of the Lost Legend.
Yeah.
And they're like, give me any sort of explanation to what the fuck that is. And she's like, here's a blanket, here's a cot, lay down. Weird detail. It's the next day and they just wake up in the woods randomly with Luca.
Right.
And the weird thing is, like, there was no blanket, there was no cot, and I was wearing my clothes. And I was like, did you, like, strip down to sleep at this weird lady's house, this Viking lady's house? And then they reclothed you in your sleep and put you in a field? And now you're just next to Dog Boy?
Right. They were like, what the fuck is with this kid? He's taking all his clothes off. Let's put him back on.
Yeah, how weird would that be? It's like, here's a cot and a blanket, and they're like, I'm tired. Starts taking his pants off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot. If you sleep naked, you're a better person than I am, because I just can't. I don't want my asshole on the bed sheets. You know what I mean? Do you sleep naked, Dave?
Not often. Sometimes when I was like drinking a lot and it was hot out at my old apartment, I mean, I have my own place. I would just, like, why not?
Sure.
And, yeah, but like the thing too is that like I'm a dedicated asshole cleaner. Like I make sure that thing is, I scrub a dub, man.
No, that's fair. But I mean, even one fart, just one fart, that's a lot of poo particles. I like the barrier of the underwear. We'll just catch some of that. You know what I mean?
At first, I would be like, hey, I don't think that does shit. Yeah. But now, being somebody who endorses wearing a mask, I realize...
Correct. Wear a butt mask. I mean,
it is a butt mask.
You don't have to, but...
But, I mean, you still smell it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not about the smell. It's about how many parts per million do I want on my bed sheets. I
also don't fart that much around here because I refuse to fart in front of my girlfriend. I'm saving it for marriage. That's a true story.
They say romance is dead, but I see what you're doing.
I'm legit saving it for marriage. She's very mad about it.
Is this real?
100%, yeah.
She's never heard you fart.
No, nobody I've ever dated has heard me fart.
Oh,
and I
my
always
God.
like, I don't know. It's just now it's like a record thing. Because like you've heard me fart like a lot. I farted on this podcast, but like, yeah. So I'm saving it for marriage. You got to save something for marriage.
Mazel tov.
I know a lot of people aren't religious anymore, but I gotta save my.
I think that's great. I would definitely keep the streak going. That's very impressive.
Well, I'm trying to not streak.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta cover it. Hold it in, cover it up.
Yeah. Wow. Good for you.
But this book sucks. And then, so they're like, all right, we should probably hang with Luca. Then they realize that there's big old nuts on the ground. And a squirrel grabs one of the nuts, and Luca sees a squirrel and runs away because he's a dog. Mm-hmm. And then they try to chase him, but like, I don't know, Justin runs into a tree or some shit. And then all the nuts start hatching, and they're mice. And then they drown in mice. But then he picks up a mouse, and he feels a hard bump in them, and realizes it's a button. And if he squeezes the hard bump on the mouse, it'll turn off.
Yes, correct. So they turn them all off, and he stuffs some in his backpack because he's like, this will be fun later, huh?
Oh, also, they woke up, and there were just 2 empty JanSports on the ground for them to have.
Correct, yes. Yep, that's for the test.
But my thing is like, okay, so he says, I felt something hard above its furry gray belly, like a bump. I slapped away 2 other mice and examined the one in my hand. I pushed the tiny hard bump. The mouse started to squirm and struggle. I pushed the bump again. The mouse slumped in my hand, silent and still. I think it's not a button. I think he's just breaking their necks.
But how is it reanimating?
Do they?
I don't know. You mean he's an unreliable narrator?
Yeah, because literally, I think Arlstein like wrote himself into a corner where he's like, they're everywhere. We can't run without killing them. We're drowning in mice. Ooh, I found a turn-off button. And then it was like, and then we ran away through the sea of mice, stomping on them. But it was okay because they were robots. Like, that's legit in the book where he's like, it was okay for the murder, though. It's like in a Ninja Turtles cartoon where, like, in the comic, it was like people and then robots. But, like, you're like, I'm killing all these ninjas, but they're robots, so no one's dad's dead.
Yeah. So you think it was like a Lenny Mice of Men situation?
I don't think there's robots in that one.
Well, he's just murdering mice.
Oh yeah, you were right. I was thinking, I was miles away from the connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be.
He just wanted to pet the rabbits and was just like, hey, you ever notice there's a button? If you squeeze this mouse real hard, it turns off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that could be. And
you ever like see a mosquito and you go like, and like you turn it off?
Sure, I've done that.
Yeah, there was that guy in the who I met in that dark alley. I shot him 3 times and to turn him off.
Yeah, he just stopped.
Yeah, his batteries probably ran out from all of the bullets.
R.I.P. Alex Trebek turned off the other day.
Oh, fuck.
Sucks.
What is too soon?
That's fair. That's for 500. Yeah, so the mice...
They run away from the mice.
They run away from the mice. Then there's bats. Who cares?
Well, no, you missed the more ridiculous part. While he's running, he runs straight into a tree, and it falls over and crushes his sister.
Yeah.
But he's like, are you dead? And she's like, nah, it didn't hurt. Not at all. Turns out it was paper mache.
Right. So things are not what they seem in the forest des Testes.
And so shit's fake. Bats come out of the trees because then they just start knocking down. This is why deforestation's a problem. Once you learn you have the power to knock down trees, you just go hog wild.
It's all you want to do, baby.
And then the bats have nowhere to live.
Yeah, come on. And also, bats get a bad rap. I was going to say this. That's always a point of like fear in these books. Bats are good. They don't attack you, and they eat a lot of bugs.
And they're very cute.
They are cute. They're like little mice with wings.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like that?
And, well, apparently this guy, because he found the turn-off button for mice, and then he's like, because I know how to murder them, it's fine if I just stomp the yard on their whole family.
Yeah, he did stomp the yard. And after the tree, there's bats, and then they try to cross, for some reason it's an issue to cross, like, a small canal that only goes up to your ankles.
It's a creek.
Yes, creek.
And it goes up to their ankle, but then they start, like, sinking in the mud under it.
That's right.
And they're like, take off your shoes and swim. And I'm like, dude, you said it's like inches above your shoe line. Like you can't swim in 3 inches.
Yeah.
But it's okay because they get rescued by giant cats.
Also, there's a big comical plug, like a bathtub plug in the creek.
Yeah. But they see it, but that has nothing. They don't do that. They do nothing with
They
it.
They don't do it. It's just like another element of like, here's a fabricated world.
Yeah.
So then there's big cats. That's fun.
And the cats like play with / eat them for like 4 chapters.
Yes. And then what, is Luca back at that point and brings them back to the cabin, or they just see the cabin?
No, it's because his backpack gets thrown off while he's getting devoured.
Yeah.
But because the mice activate again, the cats are just like, oh, mice, I should literally let you climb from my throat out to go chase the mice. So they climb from the throats of the cats, and then they go to the cabin where they find Ivana. And she's dead.
She's dead, dude. And they, on closer inspection, they see, oh man, she has like a keyhole in her back with a key in it. And they turn the key, and she kind of like wiggles a little bit.
So I'm just going to say this up front. If you think that somebody has a keyhole in their back and you have a keyhole, make sure they're a puppet, because I bet that's an easy way to get an anal fissure.
Yeah, don't go sticking any keys in your beehole.
Also, so she was a Miss Piggy all along.
That's true. And when Luca comes in at some point, he speaks, and he says, yes, Ivana is not real. I created her. And I created this whole world. And he starts taking off his like hair.
He's like rips all his pubes off.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, he just douses himself with Nair, chemical burns. And he says this was all a test to see who's worthy, because a lot of people come after the treasure. And, if you can make it through this thing I've created, then I will give you the treasure. And they're like, why did you do this? And he was like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
And it was like a great answer.
Like, if you have enough money to make a creek with a plug and giant cats, why don't you just like buy like a safe or like a
Yeah,
gun,
yeah, right.
or just move out of the forest.
Somebody with not a lot to do. It's locked down. It's quarantine. He's got a lot of time on his hands.
A lot of paper mache.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets like direct exports from Joanne Fabrics and shit.
But like, so he gives them a silver treasure chest, and he's like, "Yo, Silver Dog will take you back."
Yeah.
And they're following Silver Dog when they hear footsteps behind them.
Yeah. Ooh la la. And Justin trips and he drops the chest, but who catches it? Dad.
Dad
It's
swipes
Dad.
that shit out the air.
That's right. He's there, and they're like, "Oh, thank God." Or Dad's like, "Oh, thank God, my kids are here." And he's like, "Oh my God, you got the chest?" And they're like, "Yeah, aren't you proud of us?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And they all open it together, and there's like a big egg in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because like I was so excited for the end of this book, and then I saw that they met Dad, and I was like, "Oh fuck, there's still like 2.5 chapters left. There's more dumb shit's gonna happen." So Dad's just like, "Well, he gave you this treasure. It's in an egg, so we should go to the customer service section and return it for the one we want."
Yeah, they do. They go back to the cabin and they talk to Luca.
They want to speak to the egg's manager.
Yeah. You know what I think Dad is, Dave?
What?
I think he's a Karen.
Oh no.
I think he's a fucking Karen. And he
And
wants
you know
to
what?
speak to the manager.
And it sucks too because Luca was ecstatic to give them that silver chest.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
I said egg in it.
Egg static.
It's okay. You'll get that yolk when you're older.
Oh, Dave. I'm gonna let you finish, but it's let's move on.
Okay, I'm cracked up over here.
Oh, you.
We
So-
could, if I had sex with you, I would hump to your dumps. He was an egg.
He was an egg. That's true.
Dude, I wish I had an alcoholic drink or anything. I'm just tired. Let's end this.
Yeah, sure. So Luca says, "Okay, cool. You didn't want my treasure chest? That's fine. I thought you did. If you go like over here and to the left, that's where you'll find what you're looking for." And so like, cool. So they go over there. There's like a little community set up with like these emaciated people who have presumably been there for a long time. And they say, "Hey, do you have Legend of the Lost Legend here?" Or like, "Do you have the Lost Legend here?" And they're like, "Yeah, definitely. You want it?" And Dad's like, "Yeah, I do. Is that all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, no problem. Let me just go get it for you." And they give it to him, and they like disappear. And basically, it turns out what's in the box is like a scroll that says,
Whoever owns the lost legend will be lost forever.
There you go. And then they're immediately lost in the woods forever.
Yeah.
right.
All right. So what was good for you?
What was good for me? On page 3, one of the kids, I think it's Justin, is on his... Oh, you fell, Dave. Oh, my God.
Oh no! It's the never-ending hole.
Dave, you fell. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Please don't.
Dave, are you all right? Let's see what Quagmire has to say about this. So on page 3, Justin falls on his back, and he can't get up. It says his arms and legs kicked in the air like a bug on its back. And I thought that was a nice little simile, and it was sort of Kafka-esque, Dave. A little Kafka in there, a little metamorphosis.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. And I wrote, "Dad is funny firewood" on pages 14 to 15. Oh, yeah. Because it says, then tonight, Dad is speaking. He says, "Then tonight you both refused to get firewood," Dad accused. "We were tired," I explained, "and we didn't know where to look," Marissa added. "In a forest?" Dad cried. "You didn't know where to look for firewood in a forest? How about on the ground?" It was pretty good. On page 15 too, so when they're describing their dad's job, they say he's a very famous writer, storyteller, and story collector. Maybe you've heard of him. And I thought that was a nice little detail to sort of like wrap you up in their world, because of course he's fictional and you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Oh, at page 22, when the dog shows up and he does pet it without a thought. The good thing about that is that it's the first time anyone's been nice to a dog in the history of Goosebumps. So that's pretty fun. Page 39, a very hard bottom. That's funny. And then on
I wrote that one too, because it goes a bottom, period. A very hard bottom. And hard is italicized.
Yeah.
That was good.
And then on page 80, a very soft bottom. That's fun. Actually, page 83, very soft bottom. Page 40, they sort of surmise the dog's inner monologue, which is kind of funny. It says, the dog raised his head and stared at us with his brown and blue eyes, which is pretty, by the way. And as if to say, what is your problem? Why can't you two jerks keep up with me? I thought that was pretty good.
I like that too. That's semi-good.
Page 59, large brown nuts. That's a quote. Can't let it pass. I mean, come on. Us? We can't let it pass.
Of course not.
Page 80, good vocab word tottered is pretty good. And then chapter 21, I just like the whole chapter. It's pre the big cats, which is admittedly dumb, but that chapter leading up to like the creek, they're trying to run from something and they don't know what it is, and they're sort of imprisoned by this shadow. They're trapped in this looming shadow, and which is sort of metaphor. It's very abstract. The whole book is kind of abstract, but that chapter really especially is abstract, because the threat is an abstraction at that point, and then being trapped within the shadow of that thing that's following you is metaphorical, whether he meant it to be or not, and surely it's not. But I liked chapter 21. But that's what I got. The egg was dumb, the ending was dumb, but there's, for me, there was a lot to like in this book. Maybe I was just on the right. I think a lot of this is like, with these books, it can be hit or miss. It's just like, am I in the right headspace to consume this book?
Yeah.
Like, I had time this week to do it. Previously, it's been like the last fucking thing I want to do. So it's like, all right, I'll read Bad Hair Day, and I come on the pod and I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. It's like excrement out of my asshole, and people have to listen to it. So I don't know. That might have to do with it as well, because I recognize that it's a stupid book.
There was a Han Solo moment I liked.
Hey, tell me.
It was very like Han Solo, where they were saying like the millions of mice were hatching out of the eggs.
Yeah.
And he was like, wait a second, mice don't hatch from eggs, as they're getting overrun. And then Marissa raised her eyes to me, her face twisted in shock. I guess no one told these mice. Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that moment. And there's like, here's like some dialogue, or just like a part of the book. This is just a part of the book I just want to read. We entered a cluster of trees with smooth white trunks. The trees grew close together. The smooth bark on the trunks felt cool against my hot hands. That's what I thought was like one of the better writing and description in the entire books. And it was like middle of the line.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's not the worst. It's not bad description, but it's like nothing really like blew the socks off me. There was fun dialogue, fun, interesting things in it, but writing-wise, middle of the road.
Fair.
Nothing really outstanding. What about bad?
Yeah, bad stuff. Well, first of all, on page 5, let me just turn to the page so I actually have a point of reference. It says, he had to catch the sled. He couldn't let Marissa face the cold and the endless ice on her own. I'm coming, he shouted. Marissa, I'm coming. Now, Dave, this is No Nut 2020.
It is.
We can't have this shit in our book.
We can't.
Okay? We can't bring this on the pod like I just did when I didn't.
Are you going to have to bleep that?
I'm not bleeping it. It's not my responsibility.
How'd they spell it? With an O?
With an O.
Oh,
but we
so
know what he meant.
We're fine then. We're fine.
We know what he meant.
Man, if this is your first podcast, you got an update on Matt's butthole. You're learning about No Nut 2020. We just don't want new listeners.
For sure we don't. And we want to lose the ones we have.
No, we want to keep the ones we have by promoting their OnlyFans.
That's right. Hit us up with your OnlyFans.
Hit us up, Calling All Creeps Pod with your OnlyFans. My bad. I wrote, oof. He felt the breath whoosh
Dave,
from his lungs.
I have more bad.
Oh, I thought you liked it so much. Were you going to marry it?
Well, I just want to mention a few things. So,
Of course.
on page 10, it tripped me up. I want to find the sentence because it's very pedantic, but it did throw me off.
Are you talking about the lantern?
The lantern. It says, we had a kerosene lantern inside the tent. It sent warm yellow light around us, but no heat. I'd rather you use a different adjective there if we're actually also talking about the temperature. Because he's talking about both the hue of the light and also immediately after the temperature, and it's just like disorienting.
So I also wrote about that line because he's just like, yeah, but it wasn't hot. But then he knocks it down, and the description of the tent on fire is insane.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, no, just burn a small hole.
Yeah, that's true.
But it literally at one point, it's like, will we burn alive? Like, it was like, I've killed us, father. Like, it's so intense, and then nothing.
Drama.
And especially there where they're like, hey, this is a kerosene lamp, but don't worry, it's not giving off any heat. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's weird, like you said, that they call it warm, but it's not giving off heat, but it starts a fire.
Right.
It's, I don't know. Ugh.
It's weird.
Blah.
Yeah, page 11, big fat dad, of course. Like, he's a fat asshole. Yeah. It's just a trope. Page 18, I jerked straight up. Dave, no nut 2020.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more I could drive this home. This book is
technically,
really...
if they never came back down, is it technically... Is it technically
they're going to nut straight into 2021 if they don't come back down. I had a pit with no bottom. I thought that was stupid. And then there's a bunch of like Justin's thoughts listed. And then the sentence after that is, these were my thoughts. So that was very stupid. Oh, very funny. This should be in my good. That they like did stuff to dad while he was sleeping, didn't they? Or like he was just a very hard sleeper. So you know what? I imagined that they were doing.
I was gonna
stuff
say
to dad.
This was definitely you making up stuff they did to dad because this did not happen in the book.
Yeah, I imagine because he's such a heavy sleeper. They're like, we could do anything to him, and I just imagine them like putting his hand in a bowl of water and stuff. Okay, yeah, go with your bad.
The fire part, the oof, the pit with no bottom, anytime he falls or like elevation lowers or anything. More description like this. She was so big and loud, period. And powerful looking, period.
Yeah.
They were like, she had big muscles for strength. Also, her power. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Her power.
Whoa, I cried as I tried to slip through the narrow space between two white tree trunks, and my backpack caught between the trees. Ow! It snapped me back. I staggered, nearly fell. Mr. Klutz, for a change.
I don't even know what that is.
It makes no sense. It's like a run-on sentence, and then it's just fragments. It snapped me back. I staggered and nearly fell. Mr. Klutz, period. For a change, period.
Well, I don't know. I don't get the for a change.
Me neither. I think it was supposed to be like, oh, here I am. I'm the clumsy one for a change. Even though he calls himself Mr. Klutz all the time throughout the book later when he like runs headfirst into a tree and knocks over sets them all on fire and stuff. But it's just like, oh, Mr. Klutz for a change. Like, but it doesn't make sense written like that.
Do you think it was a reference? Do you think he meant Mr. Klotz and it was a reference to Roger Klotz? From Doug?
It may have been Roger Klotz.
I think that's probably it.
Yeah, because he was running and he was like, my favorite's Mr. Dink. Maybe Mr. Klotz for a change. All right. Now let's go through that thing that we do.
Yeah.
Top spook and scare.
Yeah, there was no spook and scare. What did I write here? I just wrote the description of Ivana was kind of creepy. She looked like a little freak. That's about it. How about you?
I would hate to. Everyone gets bit. Justin gets bit by so many different things in this book.
Yeah.
And getting weird bites from like feral dog boys and a wolf that's a dog and a bunch of mice and giant cats. Like, do you know how many shots you're gonna have to get when you go to the doctor later?
Yeah, more
especially
like Roger
coming from
shots.
another country.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
so it's all the vaccines I would need from all the random bites I got.
Yeah. I would agree.
All right.
That's good.
Who's your best dressed?
I guess Luca.
Same.
And it says, I guess I could read this on both our behalves. It says, as I scrambled to my feet, I stared at the panting creature. It had a man's face. Hunched on its hind legs, it looked almost human, except that it was covered in thick black fur. Just really something else. What's your alt title? I didn't write one.
Me neither. I just came up with mine.
Okay.
The story of a shitty story.
That's very good. I would call this, you know what? Since it's never been used before and nothing else has been named this, I'd probably call it Lost.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty good, though.
Yeah, pretty evocative,
work.
right? It's nice and clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Lost. As if, like, you know, as if it's like a bunch of people, like, on an island, like, you know, lost on an island.
Polar bears.
Yeah, polar bears.
I meant silver dog. Silver dog.
Silver dog.
I always mix those up. I
Yeah,
mix them up.
except instead of an island, it's a forest. So I don't even know why I said island, because no other properties exist called Lost. So, yeah, so I'm going to go with Lost, Dave.
I like it.
Cool, thanks.
Where's the witch?
Where's the witch? I think it's Luca, Dave. How about you?
I think Luca's the witch,
He orchestrated all this bullshit.
and he's a paper mache master, and also can put a plug in a lake. So
That's right.
Where's it even go? It doesn't make
Oh
sense.
my God. I think I speak for both of us when I say, howdy doody. Now, when I started that sentence, I was going to say, I think I speak for both of us when I say the most luscious liquors are the cats. Because they actually lick. But at the last minute, I took a left turn. I just wanted to say it.
He wanted to say howdy doody.
I just wanted to. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I agree with the cat thing.
Yeah, cool. All right,
Cats
well.
just like they're like the sandpaper. Oh, another thing I didn't like about this book is literally for 4 chapters the cats throw them, and he uses the same description. He's just like pain shot through my body.
Right. Yep.
And it's like
A
then he
jolt
picks
of
them up
pain.
and I was thrown to the left. A jolt of pain shot through my body. I was licked in the back. It was like sandpaper, which was a jolt of pain to my neck.
Right.
Yeah, it was the same description for 4. I didn't need to read all that.
We didn't need the cats.
No. So that's everything. We haven't done it in a bit. I know we're running over, but the last one ran short. So do you want to kill someone?
Sure, let's.
So this one came in from the gram from Ray Walton.
Ray Walton.
Ray said, I made it my summer quarantine project to read all the Goosebumps books in order.
Wow.
Let me tell you off the bat, bad idea from experience. But we appreciate it because I love when anyone wants to join the pain with us.
For sure.
And stumbled upon this podcast thinking that these were audiobooks at first. When I realized that wasn't the case, I opted to listen anyway. And I've been working my way through the episodes at a pretty fast pace since. You two are hilarious, and I love hearing 2 very intelligent men talk about children's books. Thanks for not being too harsh on Camp Jelly Jam, since that was my favorite. And while this has nothing to do with books, thanks for being pro LGBTQ community 5 stars.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Well,
Thank
well,
you
Ray,
so much, Ray.
thank you,
thanks
Ray.
for calling us intelligent. That's not
that's
true.
It's not true at all. But it's super, super sweet, super appreciated.
Yeah.
So prepare to die.
Yeah. Cool.
I got one. I'll start off.
Yeah, go for it.
Ray, you never found those audiobooks. I mean, you found us. We're doing like the oral start poop butt.
I
And
mean,
after a while, you get sick of it.
yeah, even that's
So-
generous, that impression.
So Ray goes on Craigslist and is like looking for audiobooks or even somebody who will read books to me. So it's weird because Ray puts it up online, but they get a knock on the door. Just like, it's like, who is it? And it's some sort of witch magician. And they say, "Hey, I am the witch magician of audiobook."
Whoa.
They call me Audible. And so Ray's like, "The fuck?" And it's like, "So if you give me any book, I will not only give you that knowledge, but I will make it real." So Ray, being super smart, it's like, all right, I see how this is going. So Ray gives Harry Potter, and all of a sudden Ray's like magic powers and friends and stuff, and it's like, oh, it's pretty cool. So Ray is like, I know how I can make this work for myself. So takes other really good books, gives Audible a cookbook, and all of a sudden, damn, Ray's got all the food they need.
Whoa.
Sick food. Just puts in a Beckett's guide to sports cards and gets expensive sports cards. And then it was like, why am I going to work on the sports card game? Ray gives Audible Crazy Rich Asians. And then Ray all of a sudden is rich and Asian. but Witch Wizard Curse, also crazy. Ray, you went crazy.
Oh no.
With power. You had all this power. So you thought, I have all the food, I have all the wealth. What if I had all the knowledge? You give the dictionary to Audible. But that's every word, man.
It's too much power.
Dude, that's words. So Ray takes in all of this knowledge, and it's too much. Their brain just explodes.
Shit.
It just bursts, and it's just one of those things where Ray's house is just silent, and their parents are calling, and you hear the phone ringing, and in the background it's just brain goo everywhere, and in the background you hear just Calling All Creeps podcast playing silently.
Ugh.
And Matt is just like, well, an anuscope is fade away.
What a horrible, horrible ending.
I'm sorry, Ray. That's how you got it.
Torturous.
I'm sorry, Ray.
You didn't deserve that, Ray, but hey, come on over to Matt Town and watch me murder your ass. So, Ray, look, I know how much you love Horror at Camp Jelly Jam. You love it so much that you went to summer camp and you were trying to get that jam experience, baby. And you're in the kitchen at one point, and much like, or not the kitchen, the cafeteria, and much like Jelly Jam, there's a beautiful breakfast. There's beautiful meals in these books. Well, yeah, mostly breakfast, and then the dinners are like just fucking excrement. And but you're enjoying a beautiful breakfast of jelly sandwiches. Hey, because it's Jelly Jam. Look at that. I put that together. And you're eating your jelly sandwich, and you're like, this is great. And there's like other campers with you that you've made friends with because you are so affable and so likable. And the campers are like, Ray, did you hear about Betsy? Like, Betsy just disappeared. She's not here anymore. And you're like, no, I didn't. Like, I know she's not here, but I don't know what happened to her. And they're like, yeah, nobody does. And then they're like, did you see where Tom went? Like, Tom's gone now. I don't know where Tom is. And you're like, no, I don't know. So they're like, look, we're going to go out tonight. We're going to try to find clues and try to just, like, figure out what happened. And you're like, yeah, I'm down. Like, I don't want these people to go missing. Let's do it. So that night, you guys sneak out. You go to this building on the far end of the camp. You go down some stairs. It's like a utility room kind of a place, but it has this staircase that heads down to the basement, and you guys are going down there because you think, like, we haven't seen this building before. Let's see, like, make sure nobody's in here, got stuck or something. You start going down the stairs. You're like, oh, it fucking stinks. Like, it smells so bad. And there's like a few more descending staircases, and you start to hear stuff. And you hear like the clanking of tools and the spraying of a hose, and you go down there, and there's all the campers, all your friends that you've seen previously and have disappeared. And in the center, a horrible monster, a horrendous beast weighing 100,000 pounds with the face of Ray Liotta. And he's screaming, he's saying, oh, yeah, give me there. Oh, I want some there, too. Oh, yeah. Shave my armpits. Powder my balls. And this is horrendous. And he's like, hey, yeah, I was a bad smoker, and then I tried Chantix. And now I don't smoke no more. And Dave is supplying the Ray Liotta Google image search. It's horrendous. And so you are just mortified. You're taken aback, and he spots you, and he says, "Hey, you there? Have you seen Goodfellas?" And you say, "No, I've never seen Goodfellas." And you're just choking on the stench of Ray Liotta. And he lifts you up with one mandible. I think a mandible is like part of your face, but that's neither here nor there. And just pops you down his gullet. You're fine at first. And then his stomach acids from years of cocaine and tobacco, you just immediately disintegrate in his stomach. So,
no.
Sorry to hear that. But hey, thanks for the shout out.
Thanks for the incredible shout out. Thanks for the incredible review, and for being just
an all-star. Hey now.
Hey now. You're an all-star.
Yeah.
And with that, I don't think I have nothing else to do.
No.
I want to play Demon Souls. I'm going to go try that out.
Oh, Dave, you have an ugly-ass PS5. How's that going?
Yo, it's so fucking ugly, dude.
It looks like a dress that St. Vincent would wear.
I was going to say, it looks like a router that went to the Met Gala.
That is very good.
It's also like over a foot tall.
Really? Jeez, it's huge.
It's huge. It's like, I don't know. It's stupid how big it is, but I guess it's neat. I plugged it in and have done. I've been working too much. I literally have not played anything.
Yeah, it's cool you got one.
It's nice. Yeah, thanks. Shout out to Craig from Craig Stuff for hooking it up.
Hell yeah.
Look at that's it next to my 55-inch TV. Look how tall that shit is.
Damn. It is.
It's over like
a big
half
boy.
the size.
Yeah. Well,
Stupid.
Enjoy that. Get your game on, go play. And
all that glitters is gold.
Only working stars in that mold. You know, I've been, for some reason, I think it's very funny. And I've been, you know how you've brought this up before. You're just on your own and you'll just sing a song to yourself like, my balls are small and my dick is smelly.
My girlfriend has started doing it from
Really?
living with me. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I've invented this thing, and it drives Lauren fucking crazy. And it's not even funny, but it just, to me, it's very satisfying for me to do. And I sing Linkin Park's "Crawling in My Skin" in a southern drawl, and I get the words wrong, and I crack myself up. And
I love that.
I did it with a Snapchat filter on that changes your voice, and it was a masterpiece.
I at the comic shop I sing songs because Corey only listens to like 90s like rock and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll like sing songs like in the voice. So I'll be like, Corey's bum, won't you come right into my face? Or like, but I'll like sing it very loud in the store.
Well, I can say you were early on the train of that song being funny and you making parodies of it. I remember like 2009 or something, he used to sing Black Hole Sun, and the words were largely the same, which always makes it funnier when you like leave a lot of it the same. For some reason that just gets me. But you're like, black hole sun, won't you come on my lower back?
I think that was a tweet too.
It's very good.
Another joke I like to say to Corey is he loves listening to Tool.
Yeah.
And anytime Tool is on, we'll be like, hey, Corey, you are what you listen to.
Nice. Got him.
Got him.
You've been salked. That was a callback. All right.
We're probably going to cut all that out.
Yeah, a lot of it.
I said a bunch of times.
Oh,
so
boy.
Not worth it. Not worth it. All right.
All right.
I'm going to boo dude your butt.
Booted, your butt is good. It's healthy now. Bye.